Hi lovelies, welcome to my cosy corner of the internet. My name is Lydia Rose and today we're going to be talking all things books, so make sure you grab yourself a nice hot drink and get all settled in. Thought today we could talk about some of the books I've read this month, some of the books I'm planning to read next month, and if you have any suggestions please let me know too. So just pop them in the comments below so that I can have a little look and maybe read some of your suggestions as well. But before we start talking all things books, I got this mini brands book things recently and it's the first one I've ever gotten and I've been dying to open it, but I wanted to open it with you guys, so let's do that first. First layer off, but there's another layer. I promise this is easier than I'm actually making it look. There we go. Ooh. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 things in here, and I assume this is an instruction manual, but I don't want to read it just in case there's spoilers. So there's 1, 2, 3 that feel thinner, and then this big one. So should I start with the big one? I think I should start with the big one. It's a little bookshelf. Okay, I think you guys need to come closer for this. Come closer. So it's a little bookshelf. Comes with instruction manuals, but I don't read instruction manuals, so let's see if I can do it without reading them. Do you read instruction manuals? Is that just me? Oh, I might have to. Well, there's got to be a base or a top. Take it back and read in the instruction manual. So there is the little shelf, and it says on the instructions that you can get more and kind of build them up. So I have a mini bookshelf. You can make it into a bigger bookshelf as well. So that's the first thing. This one's very thin. Look! Look! I don't think I'm showing that very well. There we go. Look, it's BFG. It's so cute. So it's BFG, and then you can actually read, don't know if that's going to focus enough for you to see, but you can actually read the first page. The first page. So it says, oh, this is really testing your eyesight though. Sophie couldn't, it says the witching hour. Sophie couldn't sleep. A brilliant moonbeam was slanting through a gap in the curtain. It was shining right onto her pillow. The other children in the dormitory had been asleep for hours. Sophie closed her eyes and lay quite still. She tried very hard to doze off. It was so good. The moonbeam was like a silver blade slicing through the room on her face. The house was absolutely silent. No voices came up from downstairs. There were no footsteps on the floor above either. The window behind the curtains was wide open, but nobody was walking on the pavement outside. No cars went by on the street. Not the tiniest sound could be heard anywhere. Sophie had never known such a silence. Look, and it's got a little mini picture of Sophie too. Okay, this was a good one. I'm very happy. Oh, and the back cover too. Okay, let's put it in our little bookshelf. Can you see that? In our little bookshelf. Oh. Okay. Oh look, you put them flat as well. This is the next bag. This one's thicker. Oh! So we've got the Vampire Diaries. It's a little novel. So far I've got a children's book and then a little novel as well. I did read this book ages ago. I can't really remember it, but I have read it, so it's quite cool to have it on the shelf. And then this one also, you can read the first few pages, but I won't make you go through reading that again. That's so cool. And then the rest of the pages look like they've got words on, but they're too blurry to actually read. They're cool though. So this one's going on my shelf too. I think I want it this way up though. So now I've got 2 books on my bookshelf already. Oh, or none. So the final bag. Oh, there's a few things in this one. So we've got Cat Kid Comic Club, which I've never read before, but now I've got a little hardback book, so that's quite cute. And it is a little comic, and then the rest of the pages are blank, so I suppose you could create your own mini comic in it too. Let's pop that in there. And then we've got a little bookmark. And a little magnifying glass as well. That would have made reading the first page easier. So maybe I should have opened this one first, never mind. But I think it's time to talk about some actual books. So the first one I want to tell you about is the Book of Gifts. Also had a little matching bookmark. I love when places do this. So this one I picked up in Waterstones. It is just such a lovely book. I'll pop this here if you want to pause it to read the back. It's the Book of Gifts. It's by Lucy Claire Dunbar. It's just such a lovely book. She actually has an Instagram as well under the same name. And if I just open it up for you to see, it is separated into sections. So we've got like love, the gift of love. It talks about that, let's see, and then let's see if I can flick to another section. There we go. It's also like the gift of courage as well. So it's split up into different sections, and it's just a really, I'll just show you some of them, just a really lovely book. Her Instagram's really lovely as well. So this is one of the books I've read this month. It's also a really easy read, which is perfect if you've decided to set yourself a target this year on the amount of books that you are going to read. So 2025, I've decided to set a target of 25 books that I'm going to read in 2025. So it's actually, you can't quite see it just here. It's on my little vision board as well, which needs some more things adding. But yes. So this was one book down already, which is really helpful too, but it is really, really nice as well. However, that is not the first book I read of 2025. So the first book I actually read was called Bringing Down the Stars by Claire Scott, I think. It was on Audible and I listened to it. It was actually one of the free ones on Audible, so I'm not sponsored by Audible, but I am obsessed with them. So I will mention them a few times. Yeah, so I listened to it on that. Unfortunately, I did not like it, which was not a great start to 2025, if I'm being honest. It is dual narrative, which I love. It's one of the things I love, especially when listening to it on an audio. I like dual narrative when I'm just reading, but when I'm listening on an audiobook, I like it even more. So I was really excited for that. It was one of the reasons why I actually chose it. I did not love this book. It is a love story. I thought it ended a bit too abruptly. Now I have found out there's a second one, and it did feel a bit like the book finished kind of halfway through the story. Now I know obviously in a series you need to keep something kind of going to get you to read the next one, but normally the book kind of still feels like it's ended to a degree, and I just didn't think that at all with this one, so didn't love it. It was a love triangle, which is a trope I'm okay with. It's not my favourite trope in the world, but it's a trope I'm okay with. But I just didn't really enjoy this book, unfortunately. So let me know if you did. Let me know if you've got any recommendations of dual narrative books that you think are really good though, because I am a big fan of those. I would like to read or listen to some more this year. So let me know if you've got any recommendations there, because that would be great. Yeah, didn't love it, unfortunately. So that was the first book I read. I am currently reading and so close to finishing. I thought I was going to be able to finish it today before I started talking to you guys, but I actually haven't managed it just yet. Maybe I'll finish it later. So on Audible, this one's by Lauren Graham. Love her. If you know Gilmore Girls, then you'll know who Lauren Graham is, and you'll probably also love her too. First novel written by her. I think it might actually be the only novel written by her, but I should double check that. So don't know that one for sure, but do know that it is her first novel, and it's called Someday Someday Maybe. It's just a really lovely listen. So Lauren reads it herself, and I love when the authors read their stories. So she reads it herself in her kind of iconic, fast talking Gilmore Girls kind of way. So that feels quite familiar, even though the story is obviously different. But actually, like, hearing her and her talking that fast feels quite familiar. The story itself is about a woman living in New York that wants to be an actress. So it's not based on Lauren Graham's life, she says. She says in her autobiography, which I've also listened to, she said it's not based on her life, but it is obviously something she is familiar with, so she knows what she's writing about. So it's about a woman that is living in New York City, and she's trying to make it big as an actress. So it's just a really nice, easy listen, and lovely to obviously almost get like more Gilmore Girls content. Like, it's not Gilmore Girls, but because it's the same, because it's one of the actresses from Gilmore Girls, you still get that kind of cozy vibe. Speaking of which, I've talked so much that I think we need a coffee. So let's go make a coffee, and then I'll tell you some of the books I'm thinking about reading next month, and also about the book journal that I'm going to start creating. So let's go make that coffee first though. So I've got my coffee. I hope you've got your beverage of choice too, maybe a little snack. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my book journal. So it's just a book I got from TK Maxx, so it was only £5, so not too bad. And it's just got lines in, but I'm going to create my book journal. I'm thinking about putting in all the books that I've read, maybe a star rating, something I liked about them or didn't like about them, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to start it today, but if you have any suggestions on what else I can put in it, let me know, because I really want to keep a journal of books that I'm reading this year, especially because I want to be reading some more books this year, but I'm not quite sure what to put in it. I also want to make it super cute because the outside's super cute, so any suggestions, please let me know. So let's start with that now. I think you need to be closer for this bit. So I really like this page. I like that it says best book ever as well, and there's lots of books. So I'm thinking these stickers will be really useful, but I am wondering if that's going to be stressful. Like, how do I pick? Do I pick right at the end? I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. Also, anyone else find a new page of a notebook or a journal or whatever you're doing a little bit stressful? Because I want it to be perfect, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what would be perfect. I'm wondering if I leave. So I know I want some sort of title page. So maybe I leave that one until I can decide, maybe. And then start on here with the first books I've read of 2025. I might do that. So I'm really quite pleased with how this has started to turn out already, but like I said before, if you have any ideas, any suggestions on what else should go in here, please let me know. because I want to make it the best I possibly can. So if you also have a reading journal and you've got any of those ideas that you could give to me, I would love that. Now I've got to start thinking what I'm going to start reading after I've finished Someday maybe, and I don't really have many ideas. So I have some books, let's see, that I haven't read yet. So these are on my to be read list. This one. Haven't read these, but it feels like the wrong season to be. So that is a series that I like, so the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, but the ones I haven't read are Cinnamon Bun Bookstore and The Christmas Tree Farm, and it just feels like now is not the time to be reading those, so I'll have to wait for those ones. I've got these three, so Poison for Teacher, Daisy Jones and the Six, and the Satsuma Complex, which I've attempted to start reading, but I've never really been in the mood for. So I don't know. Do you ever do that where you have your to be read list, and even mine's quite small at the moment, so positives, but you just don't want to read anything you own already? That's the feeling I'm getting. So if you've read any of these and think they're good, let me know, hype them up, get me reading them, because really I should be reading the books I already have. That being said, I would like some different suggestions too. So I'm thinking about downloading Fourth Wing or Rewitched, or there's one with Quicksilver called Quicksilver, and it had this really cool, I think it's going to be about like fairies, like fae, maybe Court of Thorns and Roses vibe, which I love that book, I'm not sure, but the front cover looked really cool. So if you have read that, if you know what it's like, please let me know as well. So I do have to decide which I'm going to use my Audible credit on, and I haven't quite decided that, and I think maybe I'll start reading this one again. I say again, I read 3 pages just before Christmas, but then I wanted to start reading Christmas books, so I put it down, and now it feels like I'm rereading it when I pick it back up, but it's literally 3 pages, so I need to, you know, get a grip and just start it, because it's probably really good, but because I've read 3 pages already, I feel like I've started it and kind of given up on it, and it wasn't because of the book, it was just because of the timing. I realised that I want to start reading more Christmassy books. So that is where I think I'm at the moment. So if you have any book recommendations or journal recommendations, please let me know either in the comments below or on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram just here as well, and I will see you next month. Bye.